Welcome back, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. On this show, we're going to cover topics that affect seniors, the most trending headlines that you're going to see today. The main one of which is the fact that the average Social Security check for people across the board on Social Security has just surpassed over $2,000 per month. Now, that, among many things, is what we're going to cover in today's show. Before we jump into it, guys, as always, please give this video a like and subscribe if you like this content. Really appreciate you guys joining in. We're going to give people about 30 seconds to come into the video if you guys are watching live. But in any case, essentially it looks like, for various reasons, the average Social Security payment has just crossed over $2,000. Now, let me know in the comments before we jump into the article, is your payment above $2,000 or under $2,000? Let me know in the comments, and let me know either way what your payment is exactly in the comments if you feel comfortable sharing that information. Now, sorry, I'm having a little bit of an issue here with my camera. Let's see if we can get that fixed. Sorry, one sec here. One sec, folks. Just give me one sec. All right. All right, sorry about that, guys. We'll do our best here to get this camera fixed. In the meantime, let's jump right into the article here. This article says Social Security retirees checks top $2,000 for the first time. Now, the average retired worker benefit was $2,200 per month in May. That's the first time that the average Social Security benefit for people across the board has come in at over $2,000 per month. A new estimate projects next year's COLA will be 2.5%, which we talked about in yesterday's show. And retirement benefits vary based on your earnings and at the age at which you claim. Now, in this article, we're going to talk about exactly why the average benefit might be over $2,000 per month now. The average Social Security benefit for retired workers hit an all-time high in May, surpassing $2,000 for the first time. While the $2,000 mark is largely symbolic, it underscores how central Social Security has become to the retirement income of millions of Americans over the program's 9-decade history. Now, monthly payments to nearly 53 million retired workers averaged $2,002 in May, which is a 4.5% increase from just a year ago, which is interesting because the COLA last year, I believe, was 2.5% for this year in 2025, but the average payment is up 4.5%. So that's interesting, right? Let's talk about exactly why that might be. This is a 4.5% increase from a year ago, at which point the average payment was $1,916 per month a year earlier, according to the Social Security Administration. But that doesn't mean retirees are living large. Obviously, you know that. We all know that. On this channel, we talk about the fact that Social Security benefits needs to be increased. It's completely unacceptable how low these payments are. In fact, this year's 2.5% COLA, which took effect in January, was the smallest since 2020. Now, that COLA explains part of the rise in the average check, but not all of it. So let's talk about what factors are leading to this average payment every month being over $2,000. Other factors, such as demographic changes in the beneficiary pool and the implementation of the Social Security Fairness Act, have likely contributed as well. So it's possible that more people are retiring that had a higher income, which means they paid more into Social Security and they have a higher benefit. And it's also possible that the Social Security Fairness Act, which we've talked about a few times on this channel, which allows certain people to qualify for benefits that didn't qualify at all before, and it also allows some people to qualify for bigger benefits because they're not being penalized. That could be leading to the average payment being over $2,000 per month. So why are Social Security checks getting bigger? On average, not for everyone, right? Social Security benefits increases each year to keep pace with inflation. We already know what this is. This is COLA. Now, the Social Security Fairness Act, signed into law earlier this year, boosted benefits for around 3 million people who receive pensions from jobs not covered by Social Security. Most of those affected by the new law were expected to see their monthly checks increase by an average of $360 per month, with some receiving up to $1,000 more each month. That's crazy, right? So it's almost a carve out where a small percentage of people, it's supposed to be a couple of million people, are getting bigger payments, which is great for these people, and that's increasing the overall average payment that the average person gets. But it's only helping a very small percentage of people. This should be happening across the board for basically everyone on Social Security, especially if you're low income. Now, if you're on Social Security, and you're still making $90,000, $100,000 a year, maybe you don't need an increase. But if you're making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year, I'd say this type of increase needs to expand across the board to these people. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you agree with what I just said, type yes down in the comments, please. I'd love to hear your input. Now, other changes to the beneficiary pool could also be contributing to the increase in the average benefit. For example, if more people with higher lifetime earnings are claiming benefits, then their benefits will be higher, obviously. But we don't really have a way of proving that. There's a good chance, really, it's this Social Security Fairness Act that's really causing most of this. Now, what will be the COLA in 2026? We talked about this in, I believe, yesterday's show. Now, the COLA for 2026 is estimated to be 2.5% again in 2026, which is the same as what it was in 2025. Still an estimate. We won't fully know until October. Now, this is based off of the latest inflation data and would translate to about $50 per month on average for retired workers. Again, $50 isn't a huge amount, but it's something. And again, that's not yet set in stone. Really quickly, guys, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. Let's also take a quick look and see what else is trending when it comes to Social Security headlines. Here on my screen, I have a headline aggregator. It aggregates all the headlines that just came out recently for Social Security. So let's take a quick look. We talked about COLA, how COLA is estimated to be 2.5%. Let's see here. We talked about Doge, how Elon Musk's organization was granted power to see sensitive information, basically all your private information that's in Social Security. They're able to look at that. We covered that in yesterday's show as well. Let me know your thoughts on that. This article here is interesting. Let's take a look. It says, goodbye to retirement at 67. The new age for collecting Social Security changes everything in the United States. Let's see if they're changing the retirement age here. So Americans born in 1959 will face a new reality next year. Their full retirement age rises to 66 and 10 months. That bump, which is just 2 months beyond the 1958 cohort, stems from a timetable set by the 1983 Social Security amendments. So it's only a 2-month bump. So if you're someone who's about to claim benefits, you were born in 1959, your full retirement age next year is going to be 66 and 10 months, as opposed to what it currently is, 66 and 8 months for those born in 1958 and earlier. Now, while that change looks small, it carries lasting consequences with the math. Claim even 1 month early and your check shrinks, albeit just slightly, but for the rest of your life for every single month that you get that payment. Delay and benefits climb 8% every single year until age 70. For people who expected to step away at age 66 at 8 months, this final stretch requires a plan. Let's quickly dive into the history and see where this change stems from. Now, the 1983 reform began pushing full retirement age from 65 to 67 in 2-month steps. And this is what they do, right? And this is most likely what they're going to do in about 7 years when they really get to that deadline where the Social Security Trust Fund is completely empty and they need to figure out what to do to keep the plan running, right? What they should be doing is fixing it and funding the system so it can be, stable, it can be well funded. We could all get our benefits, even people like me who won't be collecting for decades. as well as increasing benefits for people that are already on Social Security. But what they do, like they did back in the 80s, is they raise that full retirement age, but they do it for people down the road so that people currently on benefits and people that are going to retire soon don't get upset. But then they're slowly but surely basically defunding the system and making people work till they're older and older. I mean, for goodness sakes, they're raising it to 67. Before you know it, you're going to have to be 80 years old before you can collect Social Security. It's insane after working for your entire life. Now, starting with the 1960 birth cohort and every group after, the full retirement age is going to settle at 67 years old. So it looks like, according to this, it's going to stop at 67, and I don't believe it's going to change unless they pass another law. Now, early filing at 62 trims monthly benefits by roughly 28% for those born in 1958, 29% for those born in 1959, and a full 30% for those born in 1967. So if you see, raising the full retirement age is basically a way of cutting benefits, right? Because as you've seen, that penalty has been increasing. So if you retired at 62, initially the penalty was a 28% penalty, then a 29% penalty, now a 30% penalty. This penalty is just going to get worse and worse. Again, if you're already on benefits, this isn't going to affect you personally, but it's not a good sign for the system being funded well into the future, and it's something that needs to be fixed. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Now, for those of you just joining, I know the meat and potatoes of why you're here is to see what we're talking about when we say the average benefit is going over $2,000 per month. So let's revisit that before we end today's show. So essentially what we get here is Social Security retirees checks top $2,000 per month for the first time. So the average benefit in May was $2,200 per month across the board for everyone on Social Security benefits. Now, let me know in the comments, is your benefit $2,000 per month? Is it over $2,000 per month, or is it less than $2,000 per month? Let me know in the comments below what your payment is if you're comfortable sharing that. I love hearing from you guys. In this article, they talk about why the average payment has gone over $2,000 per month. So let's take a look. The average Social Security benefit for retired workers hit an all-time high in May, surpassing $2,000 for the first time. While the $2,000 mark is largely symbolic, it underscores how central Social Security has become to the retirement income of millions of Americans over the program's 9-decade history. The program's been around for almost 100 years. Now, monthly payments for the nearly 53 million retired workers averaged $2,002 in May, up 4.5% from exactly a year ago, which was $1,916 per month. So interesting to see that COLA, which is the cost of living adjustment in 2025 this year, was 2.5%, but the average payment is up 4.5%. So why is that? That's frustrating, right? Because if your benefit only went up 2.5%, why are some people's benefits up 4.5%? Let's take a look and see why. And the article first goes on to say that just because the average payment is over $2,000 per month, that doesn't mean that retirees are living large. And on this channel, we know that, right? A lot of you are getting way less than $2,000 per month, and that needs to be fixed. Now, the 2.5% COLA only accounts for part of this average increase because, again, the average increase is up 4.5%. Now, there is some speculation that potentially you have more people retiring that had higher incomes throughout their life, meaning they paid more into Social Security, which then means they're getting a higher benefit. But most likely what's happening here is this is the effect of the Social Security Fairness Act. We've talked about this a couple of times already on this channel. And you know what? It'd be interesting to see. Let me know in the comments if you were impacted by the Social Security Fairness Act. This would obviously be a positive impact if this impacted you. But some people's payments have actually gone up dramatically because of the Social Security Fairness Act. Now, let's take a quick look and see exactly what happened here. So the Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law earlier this year, and it boosted benefits for about 3 million people who received pensions from jobs that were not covered by Social Security. Most of those affected by the new law were expected to see their monthly checks increase by an average of $360 per month. That's not bad. Imagine your monthly benefit going up $360 just like that for nothing. That's something that would be very helpful for a lot of people on Social Security, with some people receiving up to $1,000 each month. And I would love to hear from you. Did you benefit by this law, the Social Security Fairness Act, personally? Let me know in the comments. Or do you know someone that personally benefited by this directly? I'd be interested, because so far it's such a rare thing that I haven't actually seen anyone in my comments say it's benefited them. So let me know in the comments if you have. I mean, these are massive increases. Some people getting up to $1,000 per month. The average person getting $360 per month. That's a pretty significant help. So essentially what the speculation is even though it's only around 3 million people that had this increase in benefits, it was so significant that it's pushing the average benefit up 4.5% per year, despite the COLA only being 2.5%, if that kind of makes sense. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments, guys. It looks like for the first time ever in the history of Social Security, the average checks going out to seniors is over $2,000 per month, specifically $2,002. Now that could change potentially. Most likely it's only going to continue to go up over the next, 6 months left in the year, and then obviously even more into the future with COLA in 2026. It's possible it could dip under $2,000 per month. But again, I'm curious to see how many of you are actually getting this $2,000 per month average, which is the average check going out to seniors on benefits. How many of you are getting less and how many of you are getting more? Let me know in the comments. Guys, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to take a second here to check out the comments on today's video. Joanne Holcomb said, Bernie Sanders, you said this before and we never got it. Don't promise and don't deliver. Joanne, I know it's been frustrating. I think you're referring to the fact that Bernie Sanders has been trying to increase Social Security through various ways. He hasn't had much luck yet. It was reintroduced, I believe, in February. Geraldine said she gets less than $2,000. Sorry to hear that, Geraldine. Jack Green said he gets less than $2,000 per month as well. Tom Weary said the people that need the SSI the most get the least and pass away at the youngest age. Tom, I absolutely agree. Evelyn said she gets less than $2,000. Tom Weary said he gets less than $2,000 per month as well. Diane said she gets less than $1,500 per month. Sorry to hear that, Diana. Debbie said she gets way less than $2,000, actually less than $1,000. Debbie, sorry to hear that as well. Tom said no, and Evelyn said yes. With that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to post videos multiple times per week covering the latest headlines that affect seniors the most. And these are topics that a lot of other channels and a lot of other news outlets don't talk about. Things like Social Security benefits, Medicare, and just general news that's affecting seniors the most. And guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well, and I'll hope to see you on the next video.